back at you. Deep in the Hawaiian jungle. Talking about the jungle lifestyle discussion here. Talking about the off-grid. Talking about what it's like deep in the Hawaiian jungle. So I'm going to get set up here for a second. Let some people log on. Make sure my internet is crackling right. Yep. Just got a tour booked for tomorrow. So once again, everything around here is fluid. It's rapidly moving. 1 minute you're thinking one way, then bam, a tour comes in and you got to shift your mindset. So we got an early one tomorrow. Party of 2 coming from California. Banana cultivation, 9:30 a.m. So we own it. But yeah, that's the thing about living out here in the jungle. You not only got to figure out, a structure to live in, how to grow food, how to catch water, get your utilities right, but you also got to figure out a way to make money. That's another big one. That a lot of people, they come out here and they fail to, or they underestimate how hard it could be out here to make money. Unless you already got a job, or like I said, unless you're working from home or whatever, people that just come out here on a whim, you do have to figure out, okay, how exactly am I going to make it out here, money-wise? So we got the tours. That's consistent money, and we do the online content, and we have a number of products that we sell online as well. So, but you can never have too many revenue streams living out here like this. You can never have too many. So, but before I get too deep into the off-grid lifestyle, let's check out, as always, let's check out our news headlines. Aloha. What's up, Miriam? Aloha, aloha. She said, aloha, hi, bye. That was quick. What's going on with y'all? What's up with you, Albert? I see you. Hopefully my stream sticks with y'all tonight. It's raining out here. We just talking about the off-grid jungle lifestyle, what it's like living deep in the Hawaiian jungle. So, like I've said in previous podcasts and on a lot of my shorts, you gotta get that structure right. That's the first thing. People get out here. They say, all right, I got the land. They think they're free, but you got to get that structure right. And as I've stated in the past, I strongly recommend that you learn how to build something. Start off with something very, 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 very small. And people think, oh, you mean like a one-room house or something? No, I'm talking about something not much bigger than maybe a master bedroom closet, just to learn how to build. Because believe me, you're gonna defeat the purpose of moving off grid and trying to cut your bills. If you come out here and you start hiring people to do everything, you're gonna be like, man, this more expensive than being on the grid. So we use the term around here, micro, tiny house. I'm talking about you got to start off, and this is for people that's on a shoestring budget, for people that really don't know how to build. Now, if you come out here with money, you come out here with knowledge of structure building, then go for yours. But the people that like we was when we first got out here, No building experience, very limited money. Small, go small, go small, go small. So I strongly suggest you start off with pallets, because in the beginning you're gonna make a lot of mistakes. So you do not want to be making these mistakes cutting your wood with lumber that you use your hard-earned income from Home Depot to get. So that's what I suggest. Hopefully the stream is coming in all right. As y'all know, when it's raining on me, or raining out there, I should say, the stream can cut out on us. So if it does, y'all just and I'll bring it back up. But yeah, though, it's all about coming out here starting small. If whatever area you're gonna be in, I don't know if you're in the area you're living in now, or if you buy property in a different area, you want to go scope that area out for pallets. Find out, what little industrial place gets pallets on a regular basis. Talk to the manager. The crew, if I come by, if I let you know, I'll be picking up pallets. I would always recommend that you let the people know you're gonna be picking them up. Just don't go onto their property and start taking their stuff. But I would say about in the 5 years we've been using pallets, 99% of businesses welcome you taking that. So what we got going? Yeah, that's the Koki sound. Yup. It is a beautiful sound. For sure. Where y'all from out there? Y'all let me know where you're from, what hood you're from. So yeah, though, it's the pallet, but you gotta learn how to work with them pallets. They're excellent building material, but you do have to know how to work with them. Yeah, because sometimes they can be a little bit tricky. So let me log on here and see if my good stream is working all right. Let's see what my good stream is doing. Yeah, I think it's working all right. We even have started building with our guava trees now, because we don't even want the burden of having to go and get. Yeah, my stream is working. It's working. All right. We don't even want the burden of having to go and get pallets anymore. So we're starting to use just straight guava from our land. So any build material that you can use will work. And I'm gonna tell you another good one, especially if you are out here deep in the jungle. Now I don't know about in colder weather places, but here, them cans, man, save your tin cans. That is some of the best cladding and roofing material for free that you ever gonna get. And the reason why I say for free, I do understand that you had to pay for the cans, but at least you did get to eat the contents on the inside. So essentially those cans are free building material. What did he say? What did he say? I'm from Puerto Rico. Oh, so you know where the cookies come. Yep. That's where they come from, man. That's their hood. So, but they here now. They here in a real way. Like I said, hopefully I don't lose y'all. As soon as I come out here, it started raining. But yeah, you want to learn how to work with them pallets, because pallets are going to give you some very, very sturdy walls. Very sturdy walls. They got them gaps in between them. So you definitely want to use building, wrap it up with building paper. You get a lot of people around here that don't use building paper. And you can pretty much tell by looking at the outside of a structure whether it's hurting on the inside because they didn't use building paper. I mean, you can see it's starting to wilt and weather and sag. So use building paper. Let's see if you out here in the jungle, because we got all types of little creepy crawlies and rodents and you name it, we got it. So I'm gonna try to let this little shower pass us, because hopefully my sound ain't breaking up too bad. Another thing I've come to learn is that that roll roofing, that fiberglass roll roofing, phenomenal. You want a very inexpensive roofing material. Now I'm not sitting here saying that you put that on your house, it's gonna last 30 years. That's not what I'm saying. But I will vouch for you're gonna get 5 good years out of it at minimum. Because this the structure we're in right now, I think it's about almost 4 years old and haven't had any roofing problems at all. So I can vouch for 45 years for sure, because I don't see anything happening with it in the next year. But once again, you got to use that building paper underneath, that membrane. Because now we're starting to be like 3 deep with the roof. It's the obviously the wood, then it's your building paper, then we put the membrane, and then depending on the structure, we'll put moss on top of that, or we'll just go ahead with the fiberglass roll roofing. And that works, man. That works. One of the things that we realized was make sure that pitch is right on your roof. The first structure that we did, the pitch was, it had a little pitch on it, but it could have been much more prominent. And, we didn't get leaks, but we could see where the water was starting to pool. So make sure that bad boy is slanted right. That way you don't get that water anytime to settle on your roof. But just one of them things where no matter how much I tell you, no matter how much you look at YouTube videos, you got to get out there and start building. That's why I tell people, start building. If you're not a builder, if you've never built anything, start practicing now in your backyard. I don't know if you in your backyard, I don't know if you're in your mother's backyard, but start building something as small as a doghouse, just to learn how the tools work and how to get your roofing pitch right, and just learn how to secure a structure. Because you'll see, little insects ain't no joke, and water ain't no joke. They always seem to find a way. So just a little side note on the way that rising floodwaters in Texas. I mean, some of these videos is just, people never had a chance, man. Never had a chance. Death to a mouse in catastrophic Texas floods as governor warns of more rain. Damn. So, once again, that rain ain't no joke. That rain ain't no joke. That's the big deal out here. Everybody think, oh, you worry about that volcano. No, we worry about rain. Nigga, we worry about rain and wind. So, believe it or not, the volcano is pretty much the least of our worries. But yeah, I don't know if y'all was on the stream earlier, but we got a tour book tomorrow. So that's another thing about living out here in the jungle. You better come out here rich, or you better figure out a way to make some money, cause you ain't gonna be able to do all the things you need to do, or it's gonna be very difficult for you to do all the off-grid things you need to do and go work a full-time job. Cause living out here off-grid in the jungle, you constantly gonna be doing something. Constant. Yup, a lot of stuff that you take for granted in a house, you're gonna be like, oh man, I gotta do that manually. Yup. Like today, we had ran out of water down there by the shower, so I had to manually bring down some shower water for my wife and I. Yeah, I purposely built it to where it was no pipes, none of that, because carrying that water down, it checks two boxes. For one, naturally, you get your water supply, but for two, it's a great workout. You know, keep you in shape. Make sure you don't need no gym membership. Keep your health right out here. So you always got to be thinking. Excuse me. You always got to be thinking ahead as far as, okay, how can I maximize this? Yeah. But yeah, you if you come out here in the jungle, you better come out here rich, or you better come out here with a plan to make some money. And I'm talking about money with your land, because living out here can get frustrating if you just living around a bunch of plants and a bunch of weeds that you don't want to be around because you don't have time to do any gardening. Now you gotta figure out a way to make money around the land to where you can work on the land. I don't know if you're a farmer. You know, you got wood products that you're gonna be producing off of your land, but I would strongly suggest figuring out a way to generate revenue multiple ways from your property. Yeah. So, but yesterday we was talking about solar. Can't stress that enough to you. That good solar. Start tinkering with that now. Start playing with that before you even get here. On a little 12-volt system if you can. Yeah. Because once again, it all depends on your lifestyle, how you gonna be doing it. There's a lot of people. Most people out here live off of solar. Some people live on the grid. You see people connected to the grid. So, but I would suggest, even if you don't be connected to the grid, learn that solar. I mean, the grid shuts down. And I'm not even talking about in like a catastrophic dystopian setup. I'm just talking about on a regular basis. You know, these storms roll through and it ain't nothing for that power to go out. It ain't nothing for that power to go out. So that's why we never completely rely on the internet. You know, during some of these big storms we've had, we hear on the radio that the power is out, but we're doing just fine because we're on solar. But you don't get no internet connection because whatever electricity is running the tower and the servers, they out, bro. So make sure you get yourself a battery operated radio. Yup. For sure. Or two. I like to double up everything. Especially if you moving out here to the east side of Hawaii. Man, that moisture ain't no joke out here. So your electronics, Do not always assume that they're just going to pop right on. Do not assume that they're going to pop right up. What else? What else? We were talking about solar yesterday. And after the second structure I would build after you get your primary housing structure is get your woodshed going, because that's going to save you a lot of money with dry wood, because you do not want to get out here having to use propane to cook on and to heat up your hot water, because that propane will break you. That will break you, bro. Yeah, don't move to the jungle if you don't like yard work. If you don't like, I mean, a lot of people say, "Oh, I love nature. I love dealing with nature. I love being around nature." Yeah, that's not what I'm talking about. Eventually, you're going to have to start cutting paths. You're going to have to start cutting down trees. You're going to have to start chopping wood. You're going to have to start growing food, which means you got to start weeding your garden. If you're not that kind of person, I don't know about some other areas of the world or of the country, but don't come to the east side of Hawaii if you don't want to work like that, because you ain't gonna be able to get frustrated out here, man. Yep. You come out here with a hard working mentality, because this terrain is tough. This terrain is a mug up. Let me see if I can see. Let's check out what the futures market is doing tomorrow. Yep, so we'll be up. I thought I was going to be able to sleep in a little bit, but nope. We up bright and early tomorrow. We got the tour cracking. We always enjoy the tours, especially when people come from California, where I'm from. So we're looking forward to that. Everything's going a little bit slow. That's because of the rain. Yeah, this has been a rainy summer. It's a trip. The winter was like the middle of what you would think the middle of July would be, and this is how the middle of January should have been. You know, this weather has completely flipped. Completely. Sure, my light's still crackling. But yeah, make sure all your tools is battery operated. You don't need a generator, at least not right away. I'd be very careful with a generator, like I said yesterday. I mean, if you got some big machinery, yeah, you're gonna need one. But all of our tools are battery operated, so we really don't need the generator to operate them. So we're good to go. Let me see if I can get my light there. My light turned a little bit. Look like I'm in an interrogation room in this mud. So now I'm gonna bring the bugs over. All right, we got a little. Let's see what. Oh, the futures can fail. Oh, that's right. He coming with them tariffs tomorrow. Stock futures fall after the press warns of 10% tariff on nations aligning with anti-American BRICS. What is that? Brazil, Russia, India, China, and what is that? South Korea, I believe. So it's going to be another turbulent week with the press. He coming out swinging, it looks like. He come out ready for a fight this week. Trump says Musk has gone off the rails after Tesla CEO announces new political party. Good. Them two feuding. They feud like the Hatfields and McCoys. Let's see. Futures down 90, that ain't nothing. What's that oil? Oil holding steady at 66. What about my good 10-year? 10-year, 4.3. Like I say every day on here, it's better than 4.6. Bitcoin at 108. Whole lot of people gonna be I shouldn't say a whole lot of people. I've just heard some people trying to sell at 110. So it's getting there. It is getting there. Get back. Get back. I always have to check my good island news right quick. Let's see what's cracking on the good island news. I know the Conkies is out and they rolling tonight, man. They party in the night. Gusty winds, you got a fire threat. Damn, hundreds hike Cocoa Head Crater Trail despite closure. I tell you, people come here and they don't abide by nothing. Let's see what kind of wind they talking about. 25 fire concerns. So they must be concerned. That's got to be Kona side because it's too damn wet on this side to be worried about the fire. That's for sure. That is for sure. So. Let's see. Winds will remain at advisory level for parts of Maui County and Hawaii Island. Let me see this. What part of Hawaii Island? Which way this wind gonna be kicking tomorrow? Must be coming right through that channel. Yeah. See what's percolating up in here. What part of Hawaii Island? Till 6 p.m. Monday night. For usually windier areas. Okay. Don't seem too serious. Statewide first alert weather day because of dry brush and strong winds. Okay. No fire watches or warnings are expected to be issued. With the combination of strong winds and a lack of rainfall, well, we ain't got to worry about no lack of rainfall. That's for sure. All right, so we should be good. I always like to check. That's one thing I learned coming from California to here. You better make sure you keep up with the weather. Because this weather over here will change on you. Yeah, we've been caught out a few times. We've been caught out a few times. But have your emergency equipment ready? Come out here in this jungle. Like I keep saying, use some of them Gold Zero flashlights. You want to get those. But once again, the main thing I'm talking about tonight is your structure. Installing a window was a million times easier than I thought. You hear all these. I was looking online. I saw a lot of online videos about you got to make sure the window is. Yeah, of course you want to make sure it's tight and all that. And old boys putting all kind of silicone all around the air. I was like, do I need all that? No. Make sure your eaves is good enough where the windows are not getting too bad. I mean, a little bit of overspray on the window is not gonna cause it to start leaking and whatnot. No. So, but yeah, learn to use your pallets. I would keep everything from your cans to any kind of good hard plastic. Once again, another thing, you're not building a structure to last 30 years, 100 years. Get out of the mentality. If you're coming from a suburban house or, a downtown condo or downtown apartment, and get out. Don't think that your structure got to last 200 years like their structures. No. Our philosophy is if we can get 5 years, 5 to 7 good years out of our little tiny structures, anything over and above that is gravy. It's pure gravy. So that's going to help you a lot. And say, well, this is fine. Let's keep it small. It doesn't have to last our whole lifetime. Have some 30-year mortgage taken out on the place, and then we plan to keep it for another 30 years after the mortgage has been paid off. No. Once again, that's all about changing your mindset more out here. Want something that's sturdy, small, and that can last you, like I said, 40. Like I said, this structure we're in now, this little structure, only about 100 square feet. We're going on our 5th year with it, and I easily see where it can easily make it another 5 years, as long as we continue to do maintenance on it. So, yeah. Send me a comment or something, so I know my chat is working. So I know the comment section is working. Let me send one to myself. Let me send myself a little chat. Catch ya and out with ya. I got the mayor by the head. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm gonna try to bring y'all a nice graphic every night, so you can not only tune into the podcast, but you can also see some of the cool artwork we're producing around here. Let's see here. Let me send the room an aloha. If I can spell it right. Yeah, my chat that's how long it takes to get to you. There you go. Okay, I'm not on too bad of a delay. Somebody said hi. Bye. People are on this internet, man. They really are. They really are fun. Let me see. My screen look like it's working all right. It's working all right. So get back over here. But yeah, once again, I'll be looking online all the time at these videos. People, like I said, mainly the young people. Man, I feel bad for the young people. How they just talking about the cost of living is just too bad for me. I can't make it. It's tough. Man, y'all have no idea how much upside you have. But y'all, this is my whole opinion. Once again, y'all be looking wrong. Y'all have to stop trying to figure out how to come up with 50,000, 60,000 for a down payment or something on a house. Man, trying to come out. If you can come up with 10 G's, you can buy a nice piece of property in many nice places with that. And it might not be the biggest, but at your young age, you don't even need anything that big. If you can acquire an acre, I always tell people you can get an acre of land. You can finagle that all the way up to whatever. And even if you're the kind of person that wants to live in a suburban neighborhood, that suburban house, but you can't afford it right now, go buy you some land, generate that money on the land, and then come back in a few years and get you the property. I mean, it's sad to see people walking around all stressed out because nobody ever really told them a different way. It's just go to college, get a job, and you work that job and save money, buy a house, retire with your pension, and then you die. Man, whatever you do, don't follow that blueprint. Whatever you do not follow that blueprint. Unless that's what you want to do. A lot of people don't want to do that. I talk to people all the time on these podcasts, and like, they proud of their house. They proud of their mortgage. And yeah, and I pay this every month. More power to you. I'm not doing that ever again, hopefully. I never say never, but I never plan to do that again. Nope. So once again, you wanna keep everything small, keep everything maintainable. That's another thing. You look at some of these people out here. Look at some of these people with some of these big houses. Man, they'll never tell you how much stuff is wrong with that house. I'm talking about people with money. People that have the money to get all this stuff fixed and repaired. You don't want 10 repairmen on your property at one time. Dealing with one or two at a time is challenging enough. Yeah. So that's why you want to keep your structure small. People with them big old 5,000 square foot, 4,000 square foot homes. Man, you got all kind of crap breaking on them. Hanging off. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you do not see that is wrong with them homes. Believe you me. So keep it small. That way you can maintain everything on a continuous basis. You'll see. You'll see. I tell people all the time, when you go out there and buy a house, you're actually buying two houses because you're not factoring in how expensive the utilities going to be, and you're not factoring in the maintenance costs. You know? Because you're too busy signing that paperwork just so happy that you got a house. Getting ready to live the so-called American dream. Getting ready to live the so-called American dream. That's what I be saying on there. People like, man, the American dream is dead. Y'all, the American dream is alive and kicking. And it's a new American dream. It's better than the old American dream. Because when you get your property and you doing everything, you're going to be like, man, I could have never hired somebody to pimp this out as cold as I got it. Yeah. But you better keep it small. Because emotionally and financially, if you go too big, the project is going to take longer than you think, and it's going to cost more than you think Even this little tiny structure here that we built for less than, I think I always want to say less than $500, but when you start planning in the beginning, you're like, I can do that for a couple $100. Now, whatever you think you're gonna do, I would suggest doubling that cost. So, but like I said, you gotta come out here and do. Even if you don't make it properly the first time out, I tell you all the time, we ran back to Oahu a couple times because we didn't know what the hell we was doing. It was the third time this time that we kind of got our rhythm going. But there ain't no shame in saying, all right, man, I went out there. Let me get back to civilization and regroup. There's nothing wrong with that. If you can hack it, try to stay out here and hack it. But ain't nothing wrong with going back, because it get tough, man, especially when you start running out of money and you cold and wet and that structure ain't built yet. You start saying, damn, that suburban lifestyle I had looks good again. Yeah, you can you can always go back. I mean, like I said, I wouldn't suggest it, because no. The more you avoid it out here, the harder it's gonna be. Like I said, this third time, the reason why we got it out, the reason why we got it this time, the reason why we was forced to be successful, because we had no other choice. COVID hit, and we had to leave Waikiki. There was no more tourism, so we had to come over here and make it work. So, and once you get forced into something, yeah, you make it work. And then when you make it work, you're gonna say to yourself, them earlier times when I was running back to civilization, all I was doing was wasting my time and my money. I did that. So if you can, by all means, try to stick it out, because it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. But it ain't gonna be easy. Nope. Even if you come out here with money, it ain't gonna be easy. And even if you have money, even if you are experienced in the off-grid and you're coming from, say, the mainland to Hawaii, it's gonna be tough. Yeah. The thing people don't realize about, at least over here on the Big Island, what makes it tough is, I always say, like I said, I ain't never been to the moon, but this got to be the closest thing to trying to build something or live on the moon, because everything is so uneven. The ground is so uneven, and even when you're building your initial, foundation, your initial lanai and whatnot, until you get a flat surface to work with, hope your ankles is in shape. That's all I can tell you. I hope them ankles is in shape. You're going to be moving them, turning them, twisting, and everything else, because everything is so uneven. So yeah, this out here, if you ain't in shape, nigga, you gonna get in shape. Bet that. You will get in shape living out here off grid. Yep. Kill that gym membership. So probably, maybe not tomorrow, because we just got that Twitter came in, but coming up on Tuesday, I'm gonna start listing out my top 10 for off-grid tips. Top 10 tips for the off-grid and off-grid living. But I'll give y'all the number one hint. Better get that structure right. And not only you gotta learn how to build the structure, but you gotta learn how to live in a small structure. A lot of people don't know how to live in a small structure. Yeah, you can't bring all that stuff that you got in your bedroom right now. All the little furry animals and all that. No. You gotta learn how to change your complete lifestyle. Or you're gonna get frustrated out here and you're gonna go back to suburbia. You're gonna go back to the job. You're gonna go back to the rent and the mortgage. You're gonna wind up going back to the utilities. No, you not only have to learn how to build the tiny structure, the micro tiny house, you gotta learn how to live in it. Yeah? Yeah, that big, huge ultra king size bed you got. I mean, you can have that. It's up to you. Like I say, I think we're working on like a full size bed in there. And that works just fine. The smaller a bed you can work with, the smaller the house or the smaller the structure you can build, and the less headaches you're gonna have. Yeah. My motto: more house, more problems. The more house you have, the more problems you have. Believe you me. So you talk to some of these people. Talk to some of these people out in the hills, Bel Air, Beverly Hills. If they telling you the truth, they be like, man, there's constantly something wrong with this big ass house. From the day I moved in until today, I'm constantly tinkering with it. And you don't want to be like that with a structure. No. I mean, if you're tinkering with your structure, you want to be improving on it, not plugging this hole. You want to be adding on and expanding on the thing if that's what you want to do. Upgrading things. Not man, I got this thing popped off. Like I said, I own the 1,700 square foot house for 16 years. And there was something wrong with it from the day I moved in to the day I left. There was something wrong with it. So I always say a house is like a child that never grows up. It's always going to need your attention. Always. Catch you and out with you. I got to make you my behavior. Man, they be trying to bully Caitlin Clark. Man, they physical with her. They mad because Caitlin got that jump. She got that tray on her. Boom. Yeah, Caitlin got game. It's out there, girl. You gotta put a body on her. Oh. Gotta hit her to the floor, or she will take you to the honey hole, boy. Yeah, Caitlin got game. Damn. The mushroom murder. Jury finds Australian cook deliberately killed lunch guests with poisoned beef Wellington. Damn. Nigga, that's why I cook my own meals. We keeps the food in house as much as we can. Now we keeps the food in house, big homie, as much as I possibly can. Let me see something here. Did I? Oh, okay. I thought I locked the door. Okay. No, we good. I heard a little creep. Nikki was creeping out. I was like, who was that creeping? So, but yeah, though. Learn to work with them pallets. Because another thing I've been seeing online is I'm looking at some of these new houses being built. They say these houses is a step above a Tonka truck. I mean, they talking about these houses, man, is built like little playhouses. The house that you build is probably going to be more sturdy and more reliable than a professional is going to do. Once again, they tell about the building materials that they selling you in these hardware stores is crap. You'll be surprised. I'm telling you, work with them pallets. You work with them pallets, right? Them pallets ain't no joke. Because your wall, you gotta look at how a pallet is built. I mean, what is that? Roughly 2 inches. I mean, I guess the 2x4 that's causing the spacing in between. So I mean, your walls gonna be this thick. You wrap that pallet up right, versus that little. Oh no, I'm good on that. I'm good on that. Yeah, I'm fine. That's enough. Yep. Your walls is gonna be this thick if you buy that traditional material, 1/4 inch. No, you want something. You want something that's got some muscle to it. You want something that's got some muscle to it. That's the real deal Holyfield. So use them pallets, man. But they're free. But they're not free 100% because you got to go and pick them up. You got to work with them. You got to, learn how to take them apart. It's just the main thing is you got to go get them and haul them back. So, nothing in this world is 100% free. But it sure the hell beats going up there every 5 minutes, running back and forth, hauling lumber from Home Depot, going through that contractor's line. And beep. That'll be $2,533.22. You're like, man, I should have went and got me some pallets. So, yep. So though, get your structure right. Get your utilities right. Start catching that water immediately. And with that structure or with that solar, immediately. I would learn how to do that even before. That is crazy. Children's camps were located in areas known to be at high risk of flooding. That's a lawsuit waiting to happen. If that ain't a lawsuit waiting to happen, I don't know what is. Hopefully I don't lose y'all. It's raining. Oh my God, we're floating. Survivors described a terrifying escape from the catastrophic Texas flooding. And I hope I never go through nothing like that. That's the coldest. That is cold-blooded. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting. CNN, you gotta pay to read the articles. CNN, you will never get me to pay. Like I said, I'm Generation X. I remember when you first started, man. I remember when CNN first started. They little newsroom wasn't much bigger than this little lanai I was on back in the 80s. Come on, man. Now you wanna charge for an article? Damn. Where's the loyalty, bro? Where'd that good loyalty? Trump's mega bill suggests to rule women that punishment is the point. Damn. Trump says he will probably visit Texas on Friday after flood killed at least 80. Probably. What? Yes. We'll see. Well, I'll try to get out there, big homie. Love Island USA exposes Gen Z's messiest dating traits. And it's hard to look away. When you know you're getting old, when you got like three generations beneath you. But you got millennials, Z's, and Gen Alpha. I think Generation Beta getting ready to be born here soon. Okay, that's when you know your generation is on the way. Howdy. Love Island. That is funny. So, but yeah, I'm about 57 minutes into this. Like I said, it's starting to rain, man. Let me get off this thing. I'll be back on tomorrow. We'll be talking about that off-grid lifestyle. Tomorrow we're going to be talking a little bit more about the gardening aspect of it. You know, of course, I can give you only advice I can give you is advice about out here about what we growing. Because prior to moving out here, I didn't do any gardening. I didn't do any food growing. So y'all be able to help me out as well. So y'all hit that like button. And mahalo.